Greetings, YouTube. So my wife and I finally got around to seeing the movie Source Code um, last night. Wow, it's really dark out there. Hard to believe that it's 8:04 a.m. Um, and this is a Jake Gyllenhaal or Gyllenhaal. I can never remember how to say that name right. Vehicle, and I knew something about it. That I knew that it was an action film. I knew that it had a sci-fi element to it, and I knew that it had a kind of a Groundhog Day aspect to it, where part of the basic concept is that time is looping essentially for this guy as he's trying to find something out. And I'm a big fan of Groundhog Day, and I like this idea. It was good in Tom Cruise. Was it Live, Die, Repeat? Is what it was called. All You Need Is Kill, as I believe the original name of it. Um, but for a very similar reason, I like that idea of not only exploring the possibilities of different timelines and different alternate universes, but of you being the individual that can take data out of that. So you're learning and expanding and growing, even though the world around you is repeating. I find that fascinating. So going into this, I knew that it had a number of aspects of film structure that I really like, and I had heard it was good, but I didn't know anything really deep about this idea. I didn't know a lot of the key plot points. So I went in not blind, but I went in uninformed some ways. Pretty much only what I took away from the trailer, more or less. And my wife had the advantage; she went in completely blind. My wife has that advantage a lot of the time because I'm the person that picks a lot of the movies out that we see when it comes to DVDs, and I almost always know what to a high degree what's on them. Well, she doesn't, so she gets to see a lot of the films in a much more clean manner. I kind of envy her for that. Now, this is a solid action movie. It's really well paced. Um, it was tightly focused, both in the fact that almost the entire film takes place on board um, a train or the control room of the project and the train. Um, and because of the wonderful blocking and the way that it was shot, it really, to my mind, helped focus the claustrophobic nature of not just the events going on the screen in front of us, but of the predicament that our main character finds himself in. Now, I really love the idea of this guy having to relive 8 minutes of someone else's life trying to solve a mystery. There's an explosion, there's a bomb. Um, and so he has to explore everything around him in little 8 minute chunks. Just imagine that for a minute. Just imagine trying to figure out what's going on in the world around you in 8 minute chunks. Getting better and better at figuring out what's going on, but never completely knowing what's happening next. You just are more well informed each time you go through the cycle. I think that Jake Gyllenhaal did a good job also portraying a military veteran, one that had dedication to the United States, but also who'd seen some really severe action that deeply scarred him. He did a really nice job of balancing that out and making it seem real to me. So this actually has a happy ending, and I frankly was kind of disappointed in some ways that it did. I think I would have been more happy if they hadn't had a happy ending. That if they'd had the bravery to make it fail. But this is an American film, so the good guy wins. He wins big, in fact. And there's a really glaring hole in this for me because our main character is thrust into the body of another man in the last 8 minutes of this man's life. Now, in the main timeline, the timeline where he dies, it doesn't matter that you're using the last 8 minutes of this guy's life. He's dead. So what you do to those last 8 minutes, well, potentially somewhat unpleasant because, you are hijacking someone's life. The guy died. He didn't know what was going on, and his life may help other people survive. Um, because in the film, not only is there a device on the train that our main character's on, but they know that there's another device that's much bigger. Oh, as a side note, they keep calling it a dirty bomb. Dirty bombs don't achieve fission. A dirty bomb is just nuclear material spread by a conventional explosive. That's it. A dirty bomb is a bomb that spreads cancer and death. It does not achieve fission. They should have been saying that he had a nuclear device, because in the context of the film, they show a mushroom at one point, mushroom cloud at one point, and it was supposed to have killed millions of people. That's a mushroom cloud. Also, it would have been a ground strike, which would have been far, far smaller. It wouldn't have killed a million people. It would have maybe killed 100,000, 200,000 people. But a ground strike is not the ideal position for a nuclear device to go off. And the shape of the device that they showed in the film is not the shape of a nuclear device. That's not what nuclear devices look like. And yes, I know what nuclear devices are supposed to look like. And that's not how you achieve fusion. Fission, I should say. So either it was a dirty bomb where it would have killed, thousands, less than 10,000 people, and given a bunch of people cancer, or it was an actual nuclear device, just poorly designed on a ground strike, and it would have killed tens of thousands, maybe 100,000, and irradiated the zone. But it wouldn't have killed millions. So I was confused by what they meant and what they showed. There was a break there. It wasn't well done. I think they should have done a little more research. They had a very tangential relationship to quantum mechanics, so I shouldn't be shocked they really didn't know how nuclear devices work and how dirty bombs work. But all right, so he's hijacking the last 8 minutes of this dude's life. Completely okay on the main timeline. This dude is dead. Doesn't matter. But he finds a way to break the cycle of not just repeat that same 8-minute section over and over and over again, but to get beyond it. Okay, so he gets beyond it. He saves the day. There's no explosion on the train. There's no explosion in the city of Chicago. The terrorist is caught, and he is broken emotionally by this event because the clever plan just collapses around him, and he doesn't understand why. He doesn't understand how it happened. How did this guy stop him? He was like omnipotent because he'd been through this over and over again. As Bill Murray said, maybe Guy's omnipotent, he's just done the same thing over and over again. So he gets beyond that 8 minutes. So at 8 minutes and 1 second, he's now into a new universe. Awesome. He's killed someone. He has eradicated the personality that used to live in that body and hijacked that dude's life. The dude he's hijacked is a high school teacher. The main character of the film is a combat pilot. Copters. He knows nothing about being a high school teacher. He doesn't know this guy's family, his friends, his past relationships. He doesn't know if he has any pets. He doesn't know who does he owe money to. He doesn't know where his car is if he's got one. He's hijacked this guy's life and thrown himself into a situation where he is completely unmoored, where he absolutely and totally and completely has no idea of who he is other than the information in a wallet. That's the only info he's got. You just killed someone. You stole their life. I'm glad you're not dead, but you killed someone. Do you not see that as a moral quandary? Now, I realize that the character himself didn't necessarily ask for this, but he still did it. And he's still stuck with the ramifications, an entire world that he knows nothing about. I'm just like, well, that's a thing. So I didn't like that ending. I don't like the thought that someone could hijack my life and then screw it up because they don't know who I am. Just imagine if someone took over my life out of the blue, some combat pilot from Afghanistan, and my channel collapses as he has no idea how to log into my account. You people just think I died. I just fell off the face of the earth. And the people who know me outside YouTube, who have my email address, who've contacted me on a regular basis, are going to lose me because that guy's not going to know how to log into my Gmail account. I am just going to disappear. Now, I admit that there's a lot of trolls out there who will probably be really happy about that. But what about my mother? What about my father? My sister? My nephews? What about my wife? What happens to her? Some stranger takes over, who's used to being a combat pilot in the peak physical condition, and suddenly finds himself a 52-year-old diabetic with numerous medical problems. Interestingly, does he have mental illness as well? Excellent question. So, yeah, I didn't like that ending much. And they didn't explore it, and I think that was really disingenuous of them. They didn't even hint at it. It was just completely glossed over. So yeah, I've gone on and on enough about this. So tell me, what did you think of Source Code? Did you like the film? Do you like the idea of getting to repeat something until you get it right? Because that kind of appeals to me on some level. Probably talking to my anxiety in that case. So let's talk about Source Code.